Hello and welcome to the Fierce Urgency of Now in Today's Schools podcast. I am Dr. Cynthia Mama J. Johnson, a voice of hope in education, and I will be your host. Thank you as always for joining me for another episode. Before we jump in, let me remind you why we gather. The Fierce Urgency of Now in Today's Schools podcast is dedicated to interrupting, and dismantling barriers to changing student outcomes. Today, our students need us more now than what they ever have. So let's come together to figure out how we need to meet them and where we need to meet them, not leave them there, but take them to a whole new level. My guest today is one of those experts, if you will, that is out there in the world doing the work. So please welcome the technology guru, Andrea Cook. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Woo! You are so welcome. I'm telling you what, I'm so honored that you are here today. You are doing so many phenomenal things. I want you to talk about, I want you to tell your story. I could have read your bio out loud, but I want you to tell your story. I want people to know and understand the work that you're doing that is not only impacting students in the Kansas City area. I think it's 64128 zip
Yes,
code. Yeah,
6128 is the
64128.
zip
Yeah.
code.
I remember that. I remember that because this school is near and dear to my heart. I have to show everybody I was blessed from 2013 to 2015 to be able to lead the middle school initiative and to bring middle level education back into Kansas City public schools in their own individual buildings. It didn't go away, but to bring back the middle level education in their own buildings, and to reopen Central Middle School and Northeast Middle School. These buildings were 95 years old, and when I walked in, I'm gonna tell you, when I walked into Central, I said, Lord, is this where you sent me? This mothballed building that had been closed down, just to see all the things, but now to see it as an epicenter in the Kansas City public schools is so exciting. So that's why I'm so honored to have you here. So I have on my blue and yellow representing, because we
So
even
far,
are. You see that?
okay.
That war hawk. I work with students. I work with students. Students didn't work with me. I work with students to select this new mascot and our colors. I mean, all the way down. And I showed you this earlier, all the way down to the coloring of the different teams. Each team has a different color. So anyway, we're not going to talk about that all day. I'm just proud and honored to have you here.
Wow,
Tell us your story.
I am so glad to be here, and we'll put a pin in it, but we got to come back to that because we're gonna have to have you on the Student Tech Team podcast
I
just
love
so
it.
we can hear that story. The kids need to know that history. So
Yes, I
I'm
love it.
really thankful to be a part of this. This is beautiful. I
Tell
I
me,
don't know where to
tell
start.
me about your work. Yeah, tell me about
Oh,
the work and things you're doing.
oh wow! Right now, I am a digital learning coach at Central Middle School. We are a part of the Verizon Innovative Learning Program.
Okay.
Basically, what we do or what that entails is all of our students get an iPad with LTE on it, basically a
Okay.
fancy word, which means that all the iPads have internet on them,
Okay.
and they can use the internet on those iPads anywhere within the United States and the continuous United States.
Wow. Wow.
If they're traveling, let's say they're taking a trip, they could take their iPad to Florida, and all the way there, they could be doing work or what have you. So the goal of the program is to make sure that students have access, that all students
Yes.
have access. We do have
Yes.
some students who do not have internet at home, and they have high-speed internet already and can get the work done that needs to be done. Uh,
Great.
Also, with
Awesome.
that, um, it also comes with a curriculum per se to start a student tech team. Uh,
Okay.
we took well, basically, it was an idea to have a student tech team. That was one of the things that they would like for us to do.
Right.
So we started that last year. And
Okay.
how we chose the students, I just put up QR codes around the building for students to apply.
Okay.
They
That's
actually
great.
filled out the application, and then we had interviews. The interviews was one question. I would set a timer for 5 minutes and say, okay, in 5 minutes, you're going to have to teach me how to do something with your device. I don't care what it is, you choose,
Right.
but
Right.
leave
Right.
the office,
Right.
come back
Right.
in 5 minutes. And some of the things that the students were showing me was amazing. Things I had no idea that the device could do, but they
Right.
were tech savvy enough to know. So that's how they would get the position. And so what they do within the school is they actually keep track of all the iPads. So they do walkthroughs to see if is a iPad lost or stolen or what have you.
Right.
So they keep track of the numbers. They do simple tech fixes on the iPads. If someone
Okay.
doesn't use something, they will show them how to do it. We have some of our student tech team members training teachers on how to not only use the iPad, but also we have these Samsung devices, these television type screens that
Okay.
the teachers that were new to the district, students took the time to learn how to use them, and they teach the teachers how to use that. And then that also started with the uh, Central Middle podcast, which we started last year at the end of last year, and
Yes.
that has taken off. And we've had guests every Friday from you know of course, Kansas City, but all over the United States,
Yes.
including France, including, um, oh wow, I'm just trying to think here. All over the world, basically, we've had people from all over the world who have given their time to pour into our students, and it's been such a great thing to do because students are learning not only how to be in front of the camera. We have some that are off the camera that are actually doing that work. We have people that, or students that are creating social media posts to actually advertise it. We have
Yes.
all the students have to research the person that they're interviewing. So
Okay.
I just put the name up. They know how to go to LinkedIn and look it up. So the person probably like, who is this stalking me? Well, it's just stalking you, trying to get everything so that they can come up with the questions that they
Right.
ask. So
Wow.
it's turned into a really amazing thing. That actually, the work we've done has turned into a curriculum being built for student podcasting, and the rest is history. It's been amazing.
Can I pause you just for a second? Because girl, I got to pull my tamarina. I can't take it. I mean, it's just, it's more and more and more and more. Oh my gosh, there's so many phenomenal things that you're doing. Tell us your slogan. It's like a generational. What is that slogan?
The intergenerational window.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
So basically, I presented at ASU GSV in San Diego, and my goal is because everyone should be learning. I
right.
mean, I am so thankful that I get to wake up every morning and learn
Yes,
something,
yes,
and I get excited about learning. And everyone should get excited about learning something new. And
right,
I think sometimes school, and we'll talk about that later with your um, well, basically, I'll come back to that later. But
right.
basically, students are of all ages, pre-K to gray. And
Yes,
so
that's
what
it.
we have to
PK
do,
to gray. That's what I love.
K to gray. So
Yeah,
what we have to do is have those younger students who are a little bit more tech savvy than our older adults,
right,
our gray adults.
right,
They
right.
can teach our older adults how to use technology,
Yes,
with no problem.
yes,
And not only that, the older adults can teach our young students just soft skills. They
right,
can learn, okay, well, this is how you react when someone is talking to you. You
right.
give eye contact, just different things like that that I think that will help bridge that gap between the generations.
Right. I love that. I love that. I was laughing, going, okay, now when I'm on the podcast, am I the gray side or what?
I'm definitely the gray side. Definitely.
All these years, you know what? Just like when this is a side, but students years ago asked, they said, "Well, Mama J, can our students call you Grandma J?" I said, "Absolutely not. I'm, I'm Mama J to everybody, so
Right, forever,
there ain't gonna be
forever.
there ain't gonna be no Grandma J." So when I meet the students, I'm just gonna let them know I'm coming back home. I'm coming back home. This Central Middle School is one of my homes. I was blessed to be a part of and served as principal there for a very, very, very short period of time. But when leading the project, I was the lead middle school principal and project leader. But anyway, I love all of the work that you are doing. I see you out there. I mean, it is so absolutely phenomenal. So I want to jump into our very first question because I know that you've got so much to add to the things that I'm going to ask today. So the first question is, what brings you to the work of educating today's youth, and what keeps you doing the work?
Wow. So what brings me to the work is the older I get,
Uh-huh.
I see the gaps. Um, Even though I see the same students that I saw when I was in school.
Right.
Um, However, I know that one day I'm not going to be able to do the work,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
they're going to have to do the work.
Woo. Woo.
And,
Girl.
and I pray that they do the work for me,
Right. Right.
because I won't always be able, and
Right.
it'll be their turn, next person up.
Come
It's
on now.
I tell students, like, when we do the podcast and some of the guests come in
Okay.
person, they get amazed because I walk out of the room. I
Yeah.
will go get me a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Where's she going? I already passed 8th grade. Their turn. They
Right.
do all the work. They do
That's
all the
great.
work. They take on. Hey, look, you're not reading that word correctly. They will correct each
I
other.
love it. I
They
love it.
collaborate. What do you think about this question?
Oh, I love it.
Oh, we should interview this person or what have you. So yes, it's all them, and
That is
you know I want them to own their learning.
right. Right.
That is just, it's the most important. I mean, do you remember when you were in school, a worksheet?
Oh,
You remember any of those? I don't remember any of those.
right. Right. And
Now I
mine
remember,
was done with that old
right,
machine.
with the smell, with the
Old paper.
smell.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yes, the
the
purple.
smell and your hands were
Yes,
burnt. So
yes, the
yeah.
purple. But
Nobody remembers that.
I do remember Dr. Or Sugar Lee Lewis taking us to Florida. I do
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember Gloria Henry on debate tournaments. I
Come
remember
on
that.
now. Come on now. Don't talk about Gloria Henry. Don't take me back. Woo! I'm gonna tell you what,
Listen,
because Mama J was a fierce competitor, first of all. But speech and debate and drama, that's what I started out teaching. And I
yes.
want you to know, Gloria Henry, we would show up, and then Betty Sexton at Hickman Mills. Come on now, Ruskin at Hickman Mills. Come on, don't take me back. Don't take
So
me back.
I graduated from Ruskin,
Oh my gosh.
and
Woo.
I did 2 man. So I did 2 man, and my partner looked just like me.
Yeah,
And we used to go to Shawnee Mission
yeah. And
and be
people didn't know what to think.
shredded. Oh, when I tell you, it got to a point that it got to name calling during cross,
Yeah.
to
I mean,
people were getting,
yes.
they could not believe people who looked like us were so good.
Right, right. Doing the work every single day. So that's how I felt. That's how I felt when I would bring my students out. Now my students were from Raytown South. Ray South
Yes.
rocked the house. Okay.
Okay.
So Ray South and oh my gosh, I'm just thinking about what great times. I'm just thinking about all of these names in my head right now. You
Mhm.
took me back. Woo, what a beautiful memory. You said Gloria Henry. I'm like, what?
Yes. Oh yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I already know when the kids have me come in, I'm gonna be on the gray side because if you were a student of Gloria Henry's and I was coaching at that time, we ain't even gonna talk about it. I'm not even going to talk about it. But you know what? One of the things I love is that you talked about how you're preparing the next generation. I mean, I'm so blessed to have served all of these years. I'm blessed to be a teacher. I will always be a teacher. I've been a coach. I've been blessed to be an elementary leadership coach. I've been a middle school principal, a high school principal, an executive director, a professional development coordinator. But the part that where I am now in my life is I want to help prepare the next
Yes.
generation. And it really comes back to some words that my mama said to me years ago.
Hmm.
She said, Cynthia, I ain't always going to be here.
Uh-huh.
So you got to know how to make it on your own.
Hmm.
It just made me cry when I was a little girl hearing all that. Oh, I don't
Yeah.
want to hear that, Mama. I don't want to hear all that. I don't want to hear that. So when God
Right.
called her home in 2013,
Uh-huh.
I said, this is what Mama was talking about.
Right. Right.
So taking that same type of philosophy, that's what I want to help students. I want you to know I mentor students everywhere,
Hmm.
whether they're in a Walmart, if they're checking out in the checkout line and they got their phone
Absolutely.
out. I'm like, baby, let me talk to you for a moment.
Yes.
You know,
That-
or like if they're working, they're putting stuff away, and I hear profanity, or if I hear racial stuff,
yes.
I'm looking around going, "Can I talk to you for a second?" I said, "My name's Mama J."
Yes.
I mean, you have to do that.
You do, and you can't be afraid
You
to.
cannot be afraid to say something.
No, I have stopped kids while I'm driving. I will pull over.
Right, right,
Baby, why are you walking in the street?
right, right.
Do you
And
know
that
what
make a
the
difference.
yeah, just
You're right,
and it's just in the approach.
right, right, right,
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry, baby.
right.
I mean, I have a really hard time listening to those cuss words coming out of your young
Ooh, I tell
face.
them, ooh, ooh,
Yes, that's
sweet words, sweet words. Oh, I need sweet words. That's my pastor used to always say, sweet word. Oh, I need sweet word. Because it just, if nobody tells kids, if
right,
nobody tells kids that if you're at Walmart or Target or wherever you're shopping at,
right.
and you have two earphones in,
Yes,
and when I walk up, you, and cause I'm always talking to, I say, hey, how are you? And you can't
yes,
interact with me.
right.
And I'm like, excuse me. And I'll
Uh-huh.
say their name and I'll call them by their name. And I said, hi, my
Yes,
name's Mama J. I said, do you mind just taking one of those out or both of them out right now while I'm coming through? Because
right.
I may have some questions about things that I'm purchasing right now.
Yeah.
And
Mom,
only
thanks. Give me
one.
one second. Pardon me one second. I am crying like profusely, and it's only because of my fan. I just want to let you know
Gotcha.
I'm going to go get me a Kleenex.
You do whatever you got to do. Mama J's gonna keep
Yeah.
talking. You
Okay.
you go ahead. You go ahead. Let me tell you what. In the fierce urgency of now in today's schools, I love what our guest has said to us. Andrea has said that we've got to do whatever is necessary to meet our students and to really give them empower them with gifts and skills. And you know what, I love Andrew what you said when it comes time to record that podcast you walk away. Do you know that's mind boggling? And I'm thinking all of those episodes I've watched and I did not know that.
Here's what you don't know.
Uh-huh.
So, with the state of education these days, you know how much testing has to be done.
Right, right,
So you know how much time has to be used to test.
right,
And you know the school that we work in,
right,
that in order to assure that we get the funding we need and the
right,
things that we need, we have to really um, give that students that time. So
right,
the majority of our students time is actually spent getting ready for those assessments.
right.
So
Academics, it's been on academics.
absolutely. So last year the students met during our advisory time.
Okay.
Our advisory time is about 45 minutes before the block schedule starts, right?
Right, right.
This year, most of the advisory time was
Uh-huh.
used for getting ready for these assessments.
Right, right.
So our students on the student tech team had to actually do their assessment work to practice at home so that they could get the opportunity to,
Wow. Wow.
and they were doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were doing it. I mean, because, and I would have the class that they were in, I would have that teacher check, confirm that they've
Right.
gotten it all done before they could actually come. So we were working with, you know, on average about 6 to 10 kids,
Right.
and we were putting those together on Wednesdays,
Okay.
taking the time during that 45 minutes to get the questions together, to find out who's going to record it, to find out who's going to do the research, to find out who's going to do the social media, to find out all of that
Right.
within that.
Right.
Because at first I gave them roles and was like, you be good at this. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, you guys switch out, do it however you guys want to. You
Right.
guys figure it out. Just let me know and I'll write it up there.
I love
And
it.
that's what I did. But they really, with all the work that we did, they did not have much time to build all of that. So next year, it's actually going to be a course.
Woo!
It's going to be student tech team as a course. So they'll get 90 minutes every other day as an elective,
Yes.
which amazing
That is
what
massive. That
did.
is massive. And I want you to know, by the way, in 2014, 2015, since I have the block schedule here in front of me, um, before the block schedule started, we had advisory. I just want to say that for the good of the order. And then I'm gonna move
Yes.
on. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move on. Let's go to our next question. Oh my gosh, because
Okay.
I know our time is winding up.
Yes.
Okay, from your perspective, what is the fierce urgency of now in today's schools?
The fierce urgency of now in today's schools is relationships.
Girl, don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. Just go on and talk about it. Go ahead, because you know that's my whole topic. That's my whole life is on relationships. But go ahead, and talk to me.
I am like you. You are my people.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because I see adults who do not know how or have the capacity to, or sometimes, as adults,
Mm,
we get to the point where we just don't want to learn anymore.
right, right.
And
Mm,
so sometimes we don't want to sharpen our skills anymore because we've been doing this a long time.
yep,
And we put kids in boxes and say, you're like this kid and
yeah,
what have you. We need to build the relationships so we can teach, because we
right.
can't teach kids if we don't know kids.
If you don't reach them, they will not allow you to teach them.
Well, you say it twice.
If you don't reach them, they won't allow you to teach them. You hear me?
You have to, and I mean, if you don't build that relationship, they're not learning from you.
Right.
I
Wait,
don't
wait,
care
wait a
what.
minute. Wait a minute, though, Andrew. Let's say this. Oh, they're learning, but they're
Mhm.
learning the wrong lesson
Absolutely.
because what you accept is what you teach.
So, and what happens with that as it goes further, as the circle of life goes on, they
Right.
become a parent
Right.
of the student, and then their own turmoil that they went through, they pass that off to their kids,
Right.
and the cycle continues and it's never broken.
Right. Right.
Okay, the grade. We need to teach the kids, we need to teach the adults,
Right.
we need to teach everybody
Right.
and build those relationships so that we can.
Whew. You know what? I'm gonna tell you what. You have just reaffirmed for me in the work that I do and the work that I've been doing since I had that teacher student relationship. I'm
Mhm.
going all the way back to seventh grade.
Yes.
But the part that's exciting for me is I'm thinking about when I was doing my doctoral journey.
Mhm.
And the official terminology for relationships is called school connectedness. So when I
Yes.
wrote my dissertation and I wrote it on school connectedness, you understand
Okay.
that's just not my passion. That is my research.
Yes.
People try to talk me out of it. You hear me? Like, no, 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 2006, that wasn't a big topic. No, you probably don't need to do that. And here we are, 2025. And if you don't have it, you're not going anywhere. I don't care what your building looks like. I don't care who you come in, bring in as the leader. I don't
No,
care
man.
what kind of chairs you have. I don't care if you give them 2 hours for lunch. I don't care what type of device you give them. If you do not build a relationship with a child, you have nothing.
That part. That
Yeah,
part.
yeah, yeah. So woo, I'm telling you, woo, don't get me rolling on that. See, I didn't know you were gonna go there today. Oh, you're blowing my mind. All right, let me go to the next question. So, what are you willing to disrupt, interrupt, and dismantle to ensure students have access, opportunities, and most importantly, to ensure that they complete high school? I've changed that. I've changed my question up.
Okay.
What are you willing
Well,
to disrupt, interrupt, and dismantle?
I'm gonna keep doing the work because it has to be the system.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is there's some beautiful things we do in education.
Yes.
Beautiful things.
Yes.
There's some beautiful teachers. There's some beautiful administrators.
Yes.
There's there's beautiful things that I see throughout the district. Um, However, there has to be some systemic changes made.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is education, the difference to me between education as a business and a business outside of education
Right.
is a business outside of education will go, oh, we are losing money
Mm-hmm.
on this,
Right.
on our outcome. So let's go ahead and go back to the drawing board and see how we can fix that. And we may have to take the whole thing apart,
Right.
but we will do it. Whereas education is a lot slower in that.
Yes.
Uh, and there hasn't been any changes like systemic changes, for example, in let's just say teacher education programs.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Um, I got a master's and ed spec in educational technology in like 13 and 15 or something to that effect. And I can remember being in those classes and going, oh my goodness, I could be teaching this.
Right. Right. Right.
And that
Because
is sad because,
first of all, when you were going,
uh-huh.
I don't know how many people you saw that even looked like you.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was two. There was two.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
However, that there was so the difference between well, education to me is like as far as futuristic thinking is so far behind compared to businesses. You know, when you're talking
Right.
a Microsoft or an Apple or an IBM, they're thinking 30 years in
Right.
advance. And, you know, we are thinking in education, okay, so we need for the student to get this standard that may not come to play in their life in their lifetime.
Right. Right.
So we need to look at making some changes to how teachers are taught so that they can teach students the way students need to be taught in this particular lifetime,
Right. Right.
in, you know, in this generation, because um, a lot of the things that we do
Uh-huh.
is not necessary anymore
Right. Right.
because
And you know what? Let me say this to you, Andrew.
Mhm.
I said this to my guest um, last week. I said we had a perfect time after the pandemic to enter into education with a fresh perspective. And I remember, our theme was rebuild, rebound, renew.
Mhm.
And we went right back to the same things. We went back to the same schedule. We went back to the same classes, doing the same old things.
Mhm.
We didn't have the resources to be able to provide some new trainings and things for educators. And at that particular time, I don't even know what classes and things we would offer because everybody was in survival mode.
So
Yeah.
it's so funny. Um, Basically, there was a team of three of us in
Okay.
KCPS at the time, and we did research on different educational technology models about 3 years before the pandemic. We took the second year and we did 1,000 walkthroughs to get research to see where
Wow.
our teachers were and where our students were on that model, on that
Right.
technology. After we did that, we went to a conference to see what would be the best way to give this information to teachers.
Right.
And we decided on gamifying it. And we came up with a gamified way to teach
Okay.
teachers
I
to
love
work.
it. I love it.
So we did the pilot the summer before COVID.
Right.
Fall, we would pay teachers to where they could do their PD and their PJs, is what we called it. They could do any time of day or
Right.
night because we had it all asynchronous online
Right.
before the pandemic. Then the pandemic hit. So
And,
my
and,
phone,
and things change for everybody. You
my
know,
phone was going crazy.
yeah.
So all I would do is refer them to the professional development that we had already created. So
Right.
KCPS was in a time, it was a time in Kansas City Public Schools at that moment that we were ahead of everyone else.
And I love it. And let me say this. One of the things I love about the vibe right now
Mhm.
is I keep seeing the word level up. We're on the
Yes,
rise. And
yes.
you see all the phenomenal things that is happening in Kansas City public schools. Hats off, shout out to all the phenomenal things. I love the fact, Andrew, that you're still there. So you could go back and still tell the story. You could tell the story. We were ahead, and now we're not only helping teachers get ahead, but now we're going to make sure the students are ahead. And that's what I feel like the work that you're doing with your
Yes,
podcast,
right.
that is moving students forward. I absolutely love that. So I know we've got so much more to talk about, and I'm going to have you back because I know it's so good. But this is my last question I have for you.
Okay.
If you had to identify a call to action right now for the fierce urgency of now in today's schools, what would be your call to action? Tell me in 1 minute or less.
Call to action is accept change,
Okay.
definitely relationships,
Right.
but our call to action now is to meet the students where they are. We have students that pretty much miss 2 years of school,
Right.
3 years of
Right.
school, what have
Right.
you. I mean, they were not going. Their parents weren't, some were capable of teaching. If I had to stay home with my kids, thank goodness my son was a senior during COVID, and I have four sons and they were already done.
Right. Right.
So thank goodness. Because me as an educator would have struggled. So those who aren't educators trying to teach
Right.
their kids at the time, basically, we have to find out where they are because there are lots of gaps.
Right. Yes.
We have to find out what they are passionate about
Yes.
and use that passion in order to get them through those humps that they
Yes.
are feeling for not getting all the things that they were supposed to get and getting them over the hump to get where they need to go.
Let me tell you something. I'm telling you, were you in my tutoring session I had yesterday? Because I'm telling you, I've had one of the greatest experience I've ever had in my entire life.
Wow.
This year I have one of the things I've been doing. I've been doing some great things, but one of the best things is that I have been tutoring a young lady that started kindergarten on an iPad. Mhm. And there are gaps.
Very much so.
And to see where she is now in fourth grade, but to see how she is improving. And you talking about find what they're passionate about. So now we're getting ready for all of these summer projects. And when I was out in the community and things today doing some work, and I saw a project. So I can't wait to go to the store to get the supplies so we can do this project. In
Yes.
fact,
Hey,
that's how we're going to kick off. No, kick off. We're going to close out this school year and kick off the summer doing this project. And I do all of this work and things, tutoring and things online. It has blown my mind. We do singing, we do all kind of, and because when I'm not here, when I'm not standing in front of a group of people doing a keynote, if I'm not standing and doing a workshop in a school district or at a school or wherever you need me on a corner, I am the choir director. I don't want people to ever get
yes.
that twisted. I am the choir director. So I love it. I love it. I love it.
Well,
Yes,
hey,
yes.
make your passion your profession. You'll never
Come
work a
on.
day in your life. I
Never,
tell that
never.
to kids daily.
Yes,
You
never,
know,
never, never. So just the love and the passion. So I mean, I have so enjoyed our time
yes.
today. You can see our guests that are not our guests, but our audience that will join us today. You see Andrea's email and things down here in her line there and her name. I mean, that is so absolutely phenomenal. In fact, that gives me an idea. I can do that myself. So much that you can learn from the work that she is doing in the 64128. Come on now. I mean, I heard that years ago. I can't even remember the teacher that said it. She was at Central High School. And so those are not my words. But I just remember her saying when I was there doing a project and I was doing some professional development, I remember her saying people was from the 64128 have dreams too. And I
Absolutely.
remember years ago, we went to a church. My husband and I went to the church down in the city, right down there off of Indiana, okay?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Years ago. I'm
Uh-huh.
back here, I'm directing the choir, this great big church, but all of these things that we can offer our students and things today is unbelievable. So I'm gonna say this in closing because I know we've gone over time, but that's all right. Guess what? Because I make the rules. Okay. Oh Lord, I'll tell you, after all these years, I can say I make the rules.
Yes.
I like to remind people once again that this podcast is to give you ideas, but also to take that urgency within you that I was inspired to come up with. These words come from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. from his "I Have a Dream" speech. That's where the fierce urgency of now comes from. And he was talking about racial discrimination back then, and when he was talking about it, but us coming together. So that same urgency that he talked about during the "I Have a Dream" speech is the same type of urgency that we have to come to and come with as we work with today's youth. So, my hope and goal is to ensure that people are walking away with some ideas. I'm telling you, when you're listening, I hope you had your note paper out. I hope you have your pen like I was taking notes and things over here. And you always know that regardless of what's happening in the field of education and in this world, and believe me, there's a lot going on. I don't care how dark it gets. I don't care what they try to close down, what they take away. As long as I keep my eyes on the children, I will fulfill my call and I will fulfill my purpose. So, this is
Yes.
what I say to you in closing. Regardless of how dark it gets in this day and age, I'm going to let it shine, let it shine, let it
Yes.
shine. Come on, Andrea Cook. Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you for filling my
You
soul today.
you
As
got
my
me. Now these tears are not from the fan.
woo, now,
Beautiful. Thank you so much.